All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're going deep into the Russian education system.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
tackling this thing called the Russian final essay.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, right? The one that basically decides if you even get to graduate high school.
That's right, yeah. Every student in Russia who wants their diploma has to pass this thing.
Oh.
And it's not just for bragging rights. It actually affects your chances of getting into university.
So it's like, are we talking like a super intense final exam, but with essays instead of like multiple choice questions?
You got it.
Oof.
And it goes beyond just grammar and spelling. They're really looking at like how well you think critically, how strong are your arguments, and how well can you actually analyze literature.
Okay, that's pretty hardcore. I mean, honestly, even if I never have to write this essay myself,
Right.
those skills sound pretty useful no matter what you end up doing in life.
Totally. Being able to build a solid argument, knowing how to use evidence effectively, writing clearly. I mean, these are valuable things to have in your toolkit,
Yeah, for sure, for
no
sure.
matter what you're aiming for.
Okay, so tell me more about this essay. Like, what kind of topics are we talking about, and what makes it so different from like your typical high school essay?
Well, so they used to have 5 very specific essay prompts, but recently they switched things up.
Well,
Now it's 3 broader thematic areas. So we're talking about things like moral and spiritual values in life, family, society, and homeland,
wow.
and then nature and culture.
Okay.
So the idea is that these themes encourage a deeper kind of reflection and analysis.
Wait, hold on. Broader themes.
Yeah,
Doesn't that actually make it harder to prepare?
you'd think so.
It seems like now the possibilities are just like endless.
It seems that way, right? But actually, it gives students more flexibility. They can choose literary examples that really resonate with them personally, as long as they can link it back to one of those themes.
Interesting.
So it's less about memorizing a bunch of facts and more about showing that you can, you can think for yourself about these complicated topics.
So you're saying it's not just about having an opinion. It's about being able to like
Yeah, prove
it with actual evidence and logic.
Exactly. One of the sources we're looking at today uses this great analogy. They compare the essay to building a house.
Ooh. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me about this essay house.
Okay, so your thesis statement, that's
Yep.
your foundation,
Right.
has to be strong, super clear about your position on whatever theme you've chosen. No waffling allowed.
Okay, so you're saying I can't just like sit on the fence.
No.
You got to pick a side and commit.
Exactly. And your arguments, think of those as the walls that hold up your house.
Okay,
You need at least 2 solid arguments to back up that thesis.
gotcha. And I'm guessing those arguments can't just be like, because I said so, right?
Yep.
You need evidence.
Evidence is key. And one of your arguments, it has to come from Russian literature.
Makes sense.
And the source actually recommends using two literary examples
Oh, wow.
just for maximum impact.
Okay, so they're really hammering home that literary connection, which makes sense, though. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
final essay for high school.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so then there's the conclusion. This is the roof of your essay house.
Yes.
So this is where you're kind of like tying everything together, summarizing your main points, and hopefully leaving,
A lasting impression.
like a lasting impression on the reader.
Absolutely.
So no rushing out the door at the end. You've got to make that conclusion count.
Definitely. And, an intro isn't strictly required, but it can be a nice touch.
Yeah.
Like, think of it as a welcoming porch to your essay house. It sets the scene, kind of draws the reader in.
Okay. I'm starting to get a much better picture of the structure now. But let's be real for a second, okay? Coming up with strong arguments, that can be like the hardest part,
For sure.
especially when we're talking about these complex literary themes.
Yeah.
How do students even begin to find those like killer examples from Russian literature?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The source outlines 4 different paths, 4 different paths that students can take to kind of build up their argument arsenal.
Okay.
And each path really tells you something about the pressures and expectations within the Russian education system.
Okay, lay those paths on me. I'm ready for this journey into Russian literature.
All right, so for students who might be starting from scratch with Russian literature, the source recommends the, quote, Path of the Samurai.
Path of the Samurai. Wow, sounds intense.
It is. It's they're basically being thrown in the deep end, right? This path involves reading a curated list of at least 30 short stories. 30 short stories by different Russian authors.
Wow. That's a lot of reading, especially on top of everything else they're studying.
It is. And what's interesting to me is it speaks to a certain cultural value, right?
Yeah.
Like this idea that hard work and dedication, even if it's grueling,
Yeah.
are essential for success. It's almost like
Oh, wow.
like a literary boot camp.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not just about like learning the material, it's about proving your commitment to like the task at hand.
Exactly. Now, for students who already have some background in Russian literature, the source suggests a slightly less daunting path. It's called the Path of the Wise One.
Path of the Wise One. Oh, I like that. That sounds much better already.
Right. This one focuses on 6 classic novels
Okay.
that cover a wide range of themes.
Okay.
So they're hitting all the major literary landmarks, so to speak.
Okay, 6 novels is still, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a significant commitment.
It is.
But at least it's more manageable than 30 short stories. But what about students who are really like crunched for time?
Right.
Is there a shortcut they can take?
There is. It's called the Path of the Economical. This one focuses on just a few universal short stories that can be adapted to fit different themes,
Uh-huh.
plus 2 very well-known novels, Pushkin's The Captain's Daughter
Okay.
and Sholokov's Fate of a Man.
Interesting. So they're going for like quality over quantity here. But if those novels are so well known,
Yeah,
wouldn't a lot of students be using the same examples?
right.
Like, how do you stand out from the crowd when everybody is drawing from the same, like, literary well?
That's the challenge with this one. Because these works are, practically required reading, students have to go deeper with their analysis if they want to impress those graders.
Right.
They can't just regurgitate the common knowledge. They have to offer some fresh insights and unique interpretations.
Oh, okay. So it's like a high risk, high reward kind of strategy.
Exactly. Now, for the independent thinkers out there,
Yeah.
there's the Path of the Individualist. This path lets students bring in some of their personal favorites alongside the classics.
Ooh, now that sounds like my kind of path.
Yeah.
So like I could pull in some Dostoevsky if I wanted to.
You could, but there's a catch.
Okay.
While personal choice is encouraged, the source warns against using works that are
Yeah.
too obscure or niche,
You don't want to be referencing some book that the grader has never even heard of.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, but this individualist path, it makes me wonder, is it really as flexible as it seems?
Mm.
Or are there like unspoken limitations on what students can actually choose?
That's a great question, and it really highlights one of the tensions I think that's built into this essay. It's
Yeah.
supposed to encourage, critical thinking and a personal voice,
Uh-huh.
but it's still operating within this very specific set of rules and expectations.
Right. So it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Students have to figure out how to like showcase their individuality while still playing by the rules of the game.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important point. No matter which path they choose,
Yeah.
all students need to be ready to really dig into the texts that they select.
Okay. So let's say I've chosen my path and I'm ready to dive into some Russian literature.
Right.
What kind of deep analysis are we talking about here?
Right.
What makes an argument really stand out?
Well, it's not just about summarizing the plot or,
Right.
listing out the characters. Students need to be able to identify those key themes,
Uh-huh.
analyze the author's choices, and then connect those insights back to the broader essay prompt.
So it's about like reading between the lines, so to speak, like finding the hidden meanings and connecting the dots in a way that shows you really,
You get it.
understand the work. Right.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip. Don't just passively read. As you're going through the text, take notes.
Right.
Jot down quotes, highlight passages that really jump out at you.
Okay.
Think of these notes as your golden bricks for building that strong essay.
Ooh, golden bricks. I love that.
Right.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this essay goes way beyond just writing skills.
For sure.
It's about like cultivating a certain mindset, a
Yeah.
way of approaching
Yeah.
like complex ideas and breaking them down into manageable pieces.
You're absolutely right. It's about developing that critical lens, that ability to analyze and synthesize information,
Yeah.
which is valuable in any field, not just literature.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the structure, the themes, the different paths that that students can take.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Okay, the possibility of failing.
Right.
It's like looming over every student's head.
Right.
What happens if you just completely bomb this thing?
Well, the source outlines 3 main reasons why students fail.
Okay.
The first one is just missing the theme,
Oh.
meaning they didn't answer the prompt or they went off on a completely unrelated tangent.
Ouch. All that work and you didn't even answer the question.
Yeah.
That's got to be frustrating.
It is. The second reason is having weak or missing arguments.
Okay.
You might have a strong thesis,
Right.
but if you can't back it up with solid evidence from
Yeah.
the text,
Yeah.
it's all for nothing.
So it's not enough to just like have an opinion.
Right.
You have to be able to prove it.
You got to prove it. And the third reason for failing is having too many errors.
Oh, boom.
Grammatical errors, spelling, punctuation, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got more than 5 errors per 100 words,
Well,
that's an automatic fail.
5 errors per 100 words. That's pretty strict. So it's not just about the content.
Right.
You got to have the mechanics down pat too.
You do. However, and this is important, even if your grammar isn't perfect,
Mm-hmm.
a well-structured essay with strong arguments can still pass.
Oh, okay. So it's not all about perfect grammar.
Yeah.
There's hope for us non-native speakers out there.
Exactly. It's a holistic assessment. They're looking at the big picture, your ideas, your arguments, your ability to communicate effectively.
Okay.
Now, failing, of course, means you have to retake the essay in February,
Oh, right.
which,
Yeah.
adds even more pressure to the whole situation.
Yeah.
And this brings us to another layer of this whole complex system.
Okay.
The role of schools in preparing students for this high stakes essay.
Right.
The source acknowledges that most schools don't give a lot of individual feedback on these essays.
Yeah.
They're mostly focused on grading, not in-depth analysis.
It's like the classic figured out yourself approach.
Yeah.
Not very helpful when you're trying to master this like
Right.
really complex writing task, especially with so much pressure riding on it.
It's understandable, though. I mean, given the large class sizes and the time constraints that teachers face.
Yeah.
But it does highlight the need for students to seek out extra support
Yeah.
if they want to really excel.
So where do they turn for that kind of detailed feedback?
Right.
Are we talking private tutors?
Yeah.
Online courses?
Well, the source we're looking at today conveniently pivots to its own online course.
Of course.
Claiming it's the perfect solution for students who are struggling with
Right.
the final essay. But before we get into the sales pitch,
Yeah.
I think there's a bigger point to unpack here.
Okay. I'm all for the big picture. What's the takeaway here?
This whole essay, with its focus on literary analysis and critical thinking, it really tells you a lot about the Russian education system and its values.
Yeah. It's clearly not just about memorizing facts and figures.
No.
They're pushing students to like think for themselves.
Yeah.
To engage with these complex ideas
Yeah.
and to express themselves, clearly and persuasively.
Exactly. And those skills are,
Yeah.
they're valuable no matter where you end up in life.
Right.
Whether you're writing a college essay, crafting a business proposal,
Uh-huh.
or even just having
Yeah.
lively debate with your friends.
Right. So even if our listeners never have to write this specific essay,
Right.
just understanding its structure and the demands,
Yeah.
that can make them stronger thinkers and communicators overall.
Precisely. And this brings us back to the sources course offering.
Right.
They promise to guide students through every step of that essay writing process.
Yeah.
From choosing the right path to crafting that compelling conclusion.
Okay. Let's be honest. It is a sales pitch,
Yeah.
but I'm always curious about how people are tackling,
Yeah.
educational challenges. So let's hear them out. What's their approach?
Well, they structure their course around 5 key lessons, claiming that they go
Yeah.
beyond just theory and teach students how to actually apply these concepts in practice.
Sounds promising. What are some of the highlights?
Well, they start with those
Okay.
universal short stories we mentioned earlier.
Right. The ones that can be adapted to fit
Right.
different themes.
Exactly, building that foundational literary arsenal,
Yeah. Okay.
and then they tackle those pesky grammatical errors
Okay.
that can trip up even the most confident writers.
Yeah.
They've got a whole section on conquering, um,
Yeah.
those common mistakes.
Grammar boot camp. I like it. What else?
Well, no surprise here. They spend a lot of time on the essays structure, making sure students really understand
Right.
how to build that solid foundation for
Yeah.
for their arguments.
No more shaky essays. Right. It's all about that
Yeah, structurally sound masterpiece.
structurally sound masterpiece. Yes.
Yeah. You got it. And of course, they delve into,
Yeah.
those classic novels,
Wow.
providing students with a deeper understanding of the works that are likely to
Right.
to show up on the exam.
So they're not just like throwing a bunch of books at them and saying good luck.
Yeah.
They're actually,
Yeah,
guiding them through the process
guiding them through it.
of analysis and interpretation.
Exactly. And here's the kicker.
Okay.
They offer personalized feedback on 5 essays
5.
written by each student.
Whoa, that's pretty impressive.
Right.
So it's not just like a one-size-fits-all online course.
Yeah.
They're actually taking the time to
Yeah.
provide individual guidance.
Exactly. They even promise ongoing feedback and support
Wow.
until the student feels confident in their
Yeah.
ability to write a passing essay.
Wow, that's dedication. It's like having
Yeah.
like a virtual tutor by your side,
Pretty much. Now, in addition to those core lessons and
Yeah.
and the feedback, they also provide example essays
Right.
to give students a clear idea of what a
Yeah.
successful essay looks like.
The power of modeling.
Yes.
Seeing a well-written essay in action can be
Sure.
super helpful.
Absolutely. Now, of course, they spend a good amount of time talking about, affordability and flexibility, comparing their course favorably to traditional tutoring options. They even throw in some limited time discounts
Right.
and referral bonuses.
Classic sales tactics.
Yeah.
But hey, if it can genuinely help students feel, more prepared and confident
Right.
going into this high-stakes essay,
Yeah.
then it might be worth considering.
I agree. And, this brings up an interesting point about the source's overall strategy.
Oh.
They're not just selling essay writing skills. They're selling peace of mind.
That's a really good point. They're tapping into that anxiety, right, that
Yeah.
students feel when they're facing this crucial exam.
Exactly. They're promising to take some of that pressure off,
Yeah.
provide a roadmap to success,
Right.
and make the whole process feel less daunting.
It makes you wonder, though, is all that,
Yeah.
hand-holding really necessary?
Right.
Are they maybe creating a dependence
Yeah.
on their course?
That's a valid concern. It raises questions about, the balance between providing support
Yes.
and fostering independence.
Yeah.
Ideally, students should develop the skills and confidence to tackle these challenges on their own
Yeah.
without needing a course or a tutor forever.
Right. It's about empowering them,
Yes,
not just getting them through this one essay.
exactly. But, regardless of the source's sales pitch,
Right.
there are some valuable takeaways here that apply far beyond this specific essay.
Yeah.
The importance of clear writing,
Right.
strong arguments, and the effective use of evidence
Yeah.
can't be overstated.
Absolutely. Those are skills that
Yeah.
benefit anyone in any field.
And what I find particularly interesting is that the source
Yeah.
emphasizes how their course goes beyond just teaching the mechanics of essay writing. They claim to teach students how to write in a way that will actually win over the graders.
Oh.
Essentially, how to make an essay stand out and resonate with
Right.
with those who are evaluating it.
So it's not just about checking boxes and following a formula.
No.
It's about injecting your own
Yeah, personality.
and insights into
Yeah,
into the writing.
exactly. They're teaching students to write with both clarity and flair, to showcase their
Okay.
their unique voices while still adhering to the essay's requirements.
That's a valuable skill. It's about like finding that sweet spot between meeting expectations
Mm-hmm.
and letting your own personality shine through.
Precisely. And that brings up an interesting point about the nature of writing itself.
Well,
It's not just about conveying information.
Right.
It's about connecting with an audience,
Yeah.
making them think, making them feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A well-written piece can stay with you
Yeah,
long after you finish reading it. It can spark new ideas,
for sure.
challenge your assumptions,
Uh,
even change your perspective.
and in a way,
Yeah.
that's what this Russian final essay is asking students to do. It's challenging them to grapple with these complex ideas, to find their own voices, and to express themselves in a way that will resonate with others.
Yeah.
It's about moving beyond formulaic responses
Yeah.
and truly, truly engaging with the material.
It's a tall order, but it's also an incredible opportunity for growth.
Absolutely. And that's why I think this deep dive has been so fascinating. We've gotten a glimpse into this unique educational challenge and uncovered some valuable insights about writing and critical thinking
For sure.
that apply far beyond the borders of Russia.
I couldn't agree more. But before we wrap things up, I've got one final question for you.
Okay.
Knowing what we know now about this essay and the skills it demands,
Right.
what advice would you give to someone who's about to embark on this writing journey?
That's a great question. If I had to offer one piece of advice, it would be this.
Okay.
Embrace the challenge. Don't let the pressure
Yeah.
overwhelm you.
Right.
View this essay as an opportunity to explore new ideas, to refine your writing, and to discover the power of your own voice.
Love that. Embrace the challenge.
Mhm.
Words to live by, and who knows, maybe they'll even discover a newfound love for Russian literature along the way.
That's the beauty of challenges like this.
Yeah.
They often push us outside of our comfort zones and lead to unexpected discoveries.
Well said. I think we've given our listener a pretty solid understanding of this unique academic hurdle. We've explored the structure, the arguments, the potential pitfalls,
Right.
and even some strategies for success.
We've also highlighted the universal relevance of these skills.
Right.
Argumentation, evidence use, clear writing.
Yeah.
Those are valuable tools to have in your arsenal,
Totally.
no matter what path you choose in life.
Absolutely. So, dear listener, even if you never find yourself face to face with a Russian final essay,
Right.
remember this.
Yeah.
The ability to think critically, to express yourself persuasively,
Uh-huh.
and to back up your claims with solid evidence,
Right.
that will serve you well in countless ways.
And here's a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Even if you never set foot in a Russian classroom,
Yeah.
exploring the literature and culture of another country can broaden your horizons,
Yeah.
deepen your understanding of the world, and
Right.
maybe even inspire you to
Yeah.
see things from a new perspective.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Russian final essay. We hope you've come away with some valuable insights, a newfound appreciation for the power of language,
Yeah.
and maybe even a little spark of inspiration to tackle your own writing challenges with renewed.
And it's not just about the skills themselves.
Right.
It's also about those underlying values
Uh-huh.
and the mindsets that they're trying to cultivate.
Yeah.
In this case, it seems like the Russian education system is really putting a lot of weight on hard work and discipline and that ability to, grapple with complex ideas.
You know what else strikes me about this?
What's that?
This whole essay thing, it kind of mirrors the challenges we all face in life, even outside of, the academic world.
Interesting. Tell me more.
Well, just think about it for a second. We're constantly being hit with information
Yeah.
from all sides, right? We have to figure out what's actually important,
Right.
form our own opinions,
Yeah.
and then explain them in a way that's clear and persuasive.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Right.
Whether you're writing a blog post, debating with a friend, or
Yeah.
even just deciding what you want for dinner.
Exactly.
Those skills are super important.
It's like we're all building our own little essay houses.
I like that.
Right. Making choices, giving reasons, trying to get people to see our side of things.
You're right. And that's why I think this deep dive,
Yeah.
even though it's about this very specific exam in Russia, it has this this universal relevance, you know?
Totally.
It's not just about passing some test,
Yeah.
about those core skills that we need
Yeah.
to deal with life's complexities.
You know, thinking about the sources course,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe we were a little too quick to dismiss it as just
As a sales pitch.
as a sales pitch. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What if we look at it like from a different angle?
Yeah, okay.
What if it's not just a sales pitch, but like a resource, a tool that can help students actually unlock their potential
Oh.
and develop those critical thinking skills?
I see what you're saying. It's easy to be cynical when there's marketing involved.
Right, right.
But maybe there's something to be said for acknowledging that, you know,
Yeah.
a well-designed educational resource can actually be really helpful,
Yeah, yeah.
especially for students who are feeling lost or overwhelmed, you know.
Absolutely. And even if somebody doesn't sign up for this specific course,
Yeah.
just understanding like the different approaches they talked about,
Uh-huh.
the emphasis on deep analysis
Yeah.
and how important it is to be clear and persuasive in your writing.
Right.
I mean, that's already a huge step forward.
I agree.
Right.
And that thing about injecting personality and voice into the essay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's something we can all learn from, I think.
Totally. It's a good reminder that even when you have to follow all these rules,
Right?
there's always room for creativity and individuality.
Yeah.
It's finding that balance
Yeah.
between like meeting the requirements
Mhm.
and letting your own perspective come through.
It's a skill that goes way beyond writing, too.
Right.
It's about being able to be yourself,
Yeah.
no matter what the situation is, whether you're giving a presentation, leading a team, or just chatting with a friend.
So to our listener out there, whether you're a student facing down a scary essay
Right.
or a professional trying to make a convincing argument, or just someone who wants to, think more deeply
Uh-huh.
and communicate better.
Take a page from this Russian final essay playbook.
Yeah.
Embrace the challenge. Dig deep. Find your voice.
Love it.
And don't be afraid to think outside the box.
And remember, even if you never actually go to Russia,
Right.
just learning about the literature and culture of a different country can be so eye-opening.
It can
Yeah.
it can really challenge your assumptions.
Yeah,
Make you see the world in new ways.
absolutely.
And maybe even inspire you to see things from a whole new perspective.
That's a perfect place to wrap things up.
I think so, yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Russian final essay.
Of course.
We hope you've learned some new things,
Yeah,
gained a new appreciation for the power of words,
for sure.
and maybe even gotten a little bit inspired
Yeah.
to tackle your own challenges with more energy and confidence.
You got
It
to.
really gets you thinking about how different education systems approach
Yeah.
like the same goal,
Yeah.
preparing students for what comes next.
That's a great point. And it's not even just about the skills, right?
Right.
It's about those deeper values,
Yeah.
the way of thinking that they're trying to instill.
You know what I find interesting
Mhm.
is that this whole essay, it's almost like a metaphor
Hmm.
for the stuff we deal with every day, even outside of school.
How so?
Well, think about it. We're always being bombarded with information
Yeah.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
We've got to sort through it all,
Right.
figure out what's true,
Uh-huh.
form our own opinions,
Yeah.
and then explain our thinking in a way that makes sense.
You're right. It's like whether you're writing a blog post, arguing with your buddy, or just trying to make a decision.
Exactly.
Those skills, they come in handy all the time.
It's like they're constantly building their own little essay houses.
I like that. You've got your foundation, your arguments.
Right, making choices,
Yeah.
backing them up with reasons, trying to
Exactly.
convince other people that we're right.
And that's why I think even though we're talking about this Russian exam,
Yeah.
it's relevant to everyone, really.
Right.
It's about developing these core skills that help us navigate the world.
Thinking about that course the source was talking about, the online one,
Hmm.
I wonder if maybe we were too harsh on it.
What do you mean?
Like, yeah, they're selling something,
Right?
but what if instead of just calling it a sales pitch,
Yeah.
we see it as like a helpful tool,
Okay.
a way
Mhm.
to help students really tap into their potential.
I see where you're going with this.
Right.
It's easy to be skeptical of marketing,
Oh, yeah.
but maybe some of these educational resources can be valuable,
Oh, yeah.
especially for students who are feeling a bit lost, or they're not sure where to start, you know?
And even if somebody doesn't end up taking that course,
Yeah.
just knowing about these different approaches,
Yeah.
understanding the importance of like really analyzing things
Right.
and how to write clearly,
Yeah.
that's already a big win.
Absolutely. And you know, the thing about personality in your writing,
Yeah, yeah.
that was an important point, I think.
It was.
It's a reminder that even when you have to follow the rules,
Right.
there's still space to be yourself, to let your unique point of view come out.
It's all about finding that balance.
It is. It really is. And that goes way beyond just writing an essay, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's about being true to yourself
Yeah.
in any situation, right?
Totally.
Giving a speech, leading a group, even just talking with a friend.
So to our listener,
Mm.
if you're a student staring down a big essay,
Yeah.
or you're working on a project that needs some persuasion,
Mhm.
or maybe you just want to learn to think more critically
Yeah.
and communicate better.
Here's the takeaway. Embrace that challenge.
Yeah.
Do the work, find your voice, think outside the box.
Totally.
And hey, even if you never visit Russia.
Learning about different cultures,
Uh-huh.
it can really open your eyes.
Right, so-
It can challenge your assumptions
Yeah.
and make you see the world in a whole new way.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Russian final essay.
It's been fun.
We hope you learned some valuable stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe even got a little inspired.
You got this.
Thanks for listening, everybody.